Well, for more on General Fan's trip to Cuba, Fernando Menendez joins me. He's an economist and political analyst, and he's a senior fellow for strategic initiatives at the Center for a Secure, Free Society. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Tell us, what is the strategic thinking behind China's decision to visit the U.S. first and then Cuba?
I think that one of the things that China wants to do is to send a message both to Cuba and to the United States that it essentially has the back of the regime in Havana. I think that's the primary reason for that visit.
What specifically is China hoping to hear from Cuba?
This is one of the most interesting pieces because you would not send a delegation of this level or magnitude, if you will. I think that one of the things concerning China is finding out exactly what the negotiations are between the United States and Cuba. What exactly are they talking about, and how will that have an effect on China's strategic interest in the region?
So Cuba has for so long relied on China militarily. How will this relationship change, if at all, now that the normalizing of relations is beginning to set in between the U.S. and Cuba?
Well, one interesting piece, for 50 years, the Soviet Union has had a listening station in Cuba, and it has the capacity to access information, electronic information, up and down the east coast of the United States. It is quite possible that China might be interested in that capacity in the future.
Will Cuba still need China as much as it does right now once the relationship changes with the U.S.?
I think that it will, because the Cuban economic system still needs a tremendous amount of change and a tremendous amount of reform. And I don't believe that there will be just simply largesse opening up with the U.S., so they will depend on China for considerably longer time.
Mm-hmm. And what's in Cuba's interest in spilling the beans, telling the secrets to China?
China has always been a backer of Cuba. It has a veto on the Security Council, so Cuba does want to have China in its good graces, and it always has, and it always will. It's traditionally been tied with the Soviet Union and Russia, but I think China is the growing, emerging power in the world, and it wants that.
What else will be on the agenda between these two superpowers?
Oh my goodness. There will be probably a good deal of talk about commercial relations. China has made some investments in Cuba, in nickel, in oil exploration, also in tourism. So they might actually, if the U.S. were to lift the embargo, they might actually be interested in recouping their investments.
And tell us about the significance of the timing of all of this right now that this is happening.
I think it is a new era in Latin America, especially with the United States and Cuba's sort of rapprochement or coming to each other. It will significantly, I think, impact the dynamics for the next 20 years in the Americas.
Is China happy about the normalizing of relations between the U.S. and Cuba?
I think that it is. There's nothing that it necessarily would be against its interests in having that normalized relation. I don't think that China is as ideological as it once was, so I don't think it's going to be upset about that.
Alrighty, Fernando Menendez, thank you so much. We appreciate your time and insight here on CCTV.